My friend, this is a great request. Eyes of the World, Grateful Dead. So I'm going to do one for the guitar, but this is just for the mandolin, the percussion aspect of it. This idea that we're playing in the key of E major, more importantly, E major 7, takes the concept of having just an E major chord and moves a 7th tone into it. So the inversions of E major 7 on this mandolin are bar up the bottom 3 strings, the G, the D, and the A of the mando, leave that high E string open, and then lay down your secondary finger on the A string at the 2nd fret, giving you G sharp, D sharp, and a B. Then we're going to take that same idea, move our first finger up to the 4th fret on the G string, skip a finger, skip a fret, and then you play with 2 fingers on the 6th fret, the A string and the D string. Also with that open E up top. Now, granted, I don't like playing it with 2 fingers. I use 1 finger, but I'd never switch fingers like that because it might mute something, so I use 2 fingers. 1 and 3 or 2 and 4. Either one. And because I got an itty-bitty pinky, it doesn't cover 2 strings at once. However, a 3rd finger definitely does. And this is what it should sound like. Beautiful! And then the last one is by far my favorite. Go up to the 9th fret. Bar all 4 strings, or 8, in case you're counting these in doubles. Skip a finger, skip a fret, and then take that 3rd finger laid across the A and the E string at the 11th. And then all together now. There's my E major 7. Between the 3, you could come up with some pretty cool rhythm patterns. Now, here's what I'm going to try to portray when we go through this. Right outside, that goes to the A. My lazy summer home. You could use that same chord for that intro. Cool? When we're going through the process of just soloing over here, which is really what this video is about, take our first finger, play the 2nd fret on the D string, which gives us a E note, G, D sharp, E, D, E flat, E. Then we go a whole step, a half step, go right above that B for the F sharp. We go a whole step again, a whole step, and then a half step, giving us whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, which is, if you've been following the videos, that is the interval spelling for a major Ionian mode, or a major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. No matter where you do this, it's going to give you a major scale. Just so happens we're doing it in E. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. When we go through the process of this, when we have that vamp, we could play. Because E, this is my D sharp, which is my major 7th. D sharp, E, F sharp, G, A. Now this is the open note above it. B, C sharp, D sharp, E. In fact, if we keep going, and we switch our fingerings rather than playing our 2, 3, 5, and 7, and we play our 2, 4, 5, and 7, we get the full extension of these notes. All over the place. And what we do is when we practice this, do, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi, fa. When we practice 4-note variances or 6-note variances, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, these things become the inspiration behind improvisation. So when we hear we could have such stuff as all those notes work because in E major, we can play those. In fact, you can play all the notes in C sharp minor because that is E major's relative minor. Along that line, you can play E major pentatonics. You can add that seventh as being a major seventh in there if you want to alternate with having a 5-note and alternate one of those notes out for that major seventh. There is a plethora of things you could do. If that doesn't make sense, tune into my channel or any other music theory channel out there. We can explain this. However, if we're going for the rhythm aspect of this, here's where the lesson really starts. Sorry, 6 minutes into it. We got our E7 right outside A major. You can do an A major with a sus there. So if we've got our A major and this is our third, we can raise it up and drop it back down. So we'd have right outside our lazy summer home. And it gives a little movement if you're playing by yourself. If not, the guitar and the bass are going to move this melody. That next ba-dum-ba-down, wa-down-ba-down comes from going through the chord structure and then playing a B minor. So it's a 8th note, quarter, 8th note. No, 8th note, 8th note. 8th note, 8th note. And then A major, 8th note, 8th note. Then back to the head, E major 7 to A major, sus, to A, to E major 7. B minor, A major, major. Hold that A right outside. We're going to walk that past the B minor all the way up to the C sharp, all the way to the C sharp minor. Looks the same as the B minor, but it's up a whole step. And we're going to walk it right down to the B minor, B major. And we're going to walk it all the way down to that E again. So we've got right outside this lazy summer home. Ain't got time to make your soul critic known. Right outside this lazy gaze of winter summer home. Back up to that C sharp minor, waiting for B major. The North Thatcher's winters with D major. Wings a mile long to the A major, to the E major 7. Just carry, hover back and forth between the two, A and E. Away, don't bump a dump. A minor up to C major, to a G major. That's where we're going to stop. We're going to go back out the whole thing. 1, 2 from the E major 7. This is considered just an open vamp. In the beginning of the song, they vamp just in that E major 7. After the first verse and it goes into There Comes a Redeemer, it does that same vamp, but it does the E7 to a B minor. And it holds it out 2 measures. Then the second verse happens. There comes a redeemer. He too slowly fades away. And behind him is a horse loaded with clay. And the seas that were silent are burst in bloom and decay. E, the night comes so quiet. A, that it hides on the hills. A, major 7. Here's that A minor. B, C, G, to find out that you to the sea of the world. G to C. We're gonna be hovering back between the 1 and the 4 here. G to a C. And then we're going to modulate all the way up to a D. C, C sharp, D major, to an A major. No, that's not right. Was it D major? Yeah. D, C, G. C, back to G. C, back to that original groove. G to C up to D major. That same ba-dum, 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 ba-dum is the same thing we're doing to get back into that middle vamp part. B minor, A major, E major 7. Now, unlike the first time when we did E major 7 to B minor, we're going to go all the way to A major. E major 7. B minor, A major. And you do this, I don't know, live they do it a bunch of different times. So, and a bunch of different creations, and then they just solo over the top of this. So whomever's turn it is a solo, have fun. But remember that A major is part of it. E major 7, B minor, A major. Sometimes we live no particular way, but our own. Sometimes we visit your country, stay in your home. Sometimes we ride your horses, sometimes we walk alone. Sometimes the songs that we sing are just songs of our own. Wake up to find out that you are the eyes of the world. Heart has its season, it's easy, thoughts of its own. Here's that C to C sharp. D. Wake up, find out that you are the song that the morning brings. Heart has its season, fingers and songs of its own. Then at the end of the tune, same as the beginning, just gets that vamp out on that E major 7. So if you are on the mando and you're digging it out, try and play E major, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, or open A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and our E as our resolution. Remember, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. When you're playing the E, you can also go to here, 5th fret, and play a minor. Whole step, half step. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. And when we do this, it gives us the tone of having a flat 3, flat 6, and flat 7. In the key of C, it would look odd because we'd have C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, and then C. Have fun with this one and look for the guitar version of this, which hopefully will be a little shorter as well. Aloha!